Welcome to Trinity Lutheran Church in New York Mills, Minnesota. But we're hanging out in Wadena, a town about 12, 13 miles east of us. And the reason being is Wadena still has their old depot here on the old railroad track that was used by Burlington Northern for some time. But our main theme today is what we're looking to look at is goodbye is hard.
If I had only known the last time would be the last time, I would have put off all the things I had to do. I would have stayed a little longer, held on a little tighter. Now what I'd give for one more day with you. There's a wound here in my heart where something's missing. They tell me that it's gonna heal with time, and I know you're in a place where all your wounds have been erased, and knowing you're so healed is healing mine. Scars and heavy, they won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken, and all the old will be made new in the thought that makes me smile. Tears fall down. Is that the only scars in heavy? Or on the hands that hold you now? Your share of scars along the way. Now you're standing in the sun. You fought and you fight and your race is won. The pain is all a million miles away. The only scars in heavy, they won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken, and only old will be made new in the thought that makes me smile now. Even as the tears fall down, is that the only scars in heaven? Or on the hands that hold you now? There's not a day goes by that I don't see you. You live on and on in the better parts of me, till I'm standing with you in the sun. I'll fight this fight and this race I'll run, until I finally see what you can see. The only scars in heavy, they won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such
As I said before, we're down in Wadena here, and the old railroad depot for the Burlington Northern here was built in 1917, and it was used for passenger service clear up until 1971. And when you think about that era of 1917 to 1971, and the passengers that were coming on and coming off of that train throughout different times of our nation's history, you can imagine the soldiers that were leaving for the first time from their hometown, World War II all the way through Vietnam. And I'm sure there was many a sad goodbye because mothers, fathers, and wives were struggling probably as, are we going to see them again? Because goodbye is hard. I had a grandfather that traveled the rails for business for years and years, and he says it was a luxurious time of travel in the 30s and 40s and in the 50s, and then he transitioned into the airports and flew all over the United States in the shoe industry of all things, of all this. And even for him, there was times when he said goodbye to my mama and her brothers and sisters. It was hard because you never knew. In our book of James today, we see where we have the hope that in the knowledge of when we say especially goodbye to somebody, at their deathbed especially, is not one for eternity. In the book of James, the 4th chapter, it reads beginning in the 13th verse, "Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go to such and such city, and spend a year there and engage in business and make a profit. Yet you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. You are just a vapor that appears for a little while, then vanishes away. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and also do this or that." We do a lot of planning in our lives. I don't care if it's business or vacations. I don't care if we're getting on the old Amtrak around this country or if we're flying out someplace or driving our vehicle to go see somebody. We know one thing for sure. We have a promise that goodbye is not forever. Every person that I'm at their deathbed, I say, as their pastor, I look forward to seeing you again, whether here on heaven or on earth. And that's true for you today, too, in the promise that's in Jesus Christ. He says, I will never leave you, nor will I ever forsake you. And He's given you in the meantime between today and whatever that time comes, He's given you the day. He's given everything in place for you to be able to go about your vocation, whatever that may be, even us retired folk. And then with the promise that the ultimate that's been prepared for us is our forgiveness, faith, and life eternal. I may never get that out of my mouth. I may never, ever meet you except through this YouTube devotion. Let us know where you're seeing it from. But I know one thing, as a fellow believer, baptized into the death of Jesus Christ and His glorious resurrection, I'll see you someday again. In the meantime, the Lord bless you and keep you, and all He brings you to and through.